the champion now, and as happy as you are to be the champion, I might be a little bit happier. So you go and be a warrior, because I'm going to go be a mother.
As I live and breathe, it is Thursday, May 14th, 2020. This is a SickSadCast, and my name is Nick, and I'm joined on my left by my good friend Manuel.
Hey, what's up?
And on my right is my other half, Sarah, who's on her phone.
Hey, you sound like a news reporter.
Are you playing a game? What are you playing?
Tonight's top story.
Well, you just heard it in the intro. Becky Lynch revealing to the entire world on Monday Night Raw that she's preggers, and you heard the soundbite with Asuka as she gave her the championship. That was in the Money in the Bank briefcase and all that stuff.
Has anything like that been done before? Like that? No, like in
or
the
like
Money
a
in the
pregnancy
Bank.
announcement like that. I've only seen Maurice and Miz come out and do that.
Yeah.
And we saw it live where she came out and says, "Oh, we're pregnant again."
Yeah.
It's like that was it.
Well, years back, Stephanie and Triple H had an angle where they were having like some sort of on-air troubles. You know, I think Triple H was a heel, and I can't remember if Stephanie was a heel, but she goes out there and they were arguing in the ring, and Triple H was going to leave or something, and she was like, "I'm pregnant," and he turned around, and all the whole angle changed, and the crowd was like, "What?" And then they embraced, and then as weeks went on, we then learned that Stephanie, in fact, was not pregnant in the storyline. And she did that so Triple H wouldn't leave her or something.
Oh, he wasn't heel. He was a good guy.
He was a good, and she was a heel.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I remember that, and then thinking, this bitch, who does that?
Everybody remembers that angle.
Yeah. Remembering something like this too, it was a thicker black woman. She had a theme. I only saw her maybe once or twice on the show before she came out and says, "I'm with child," and just left.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is that Karma? Is her name Karma?
Yeah, she's
was
Karma.
Awesome Con. That's right.
Yeah, she was
Awesome
Karma
Con.
in WWE. She is, God damn it, she's on Glow.
Oh, so that was her.
What's her name?
Welfare Queen.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's her.
Wow, I had no idea.
From what I understand, unfortunately, I think she lost the child.
Oh.
I don't think she.
Oh.
I don't think she made it halfway or something like that. That's from what I understand.
That's so sad.
After she left WWE, she had just gotten signed, and then she got pregnant, and then obviously WWE they let her go after that happened, because it's like, I don't know if she went into depression, she didn't want to wrestle anymore or something. So then she was just like floating around doing whatever, and now she's wrestling again, and now she's acting. Mm-hmm. So
in a time like that, though, like in a time where, I mean, Nia Jax almost seems like she's accepted, or you got to have like at least one that's not all about just beauty and tanning and stuff like that, right? But when Karma was signed, she stuck out like a thorn. There was no Tamina, there's no everybody was like Nikki Bella, Maurice, so that was very different. And so then you're like the only one that gets that opportunity, and you get pregnant.
Yeah.
So on that same note, it's like, I don't think Becky Lynch will ever be at the height of her career like she is right now, and you can't control being pregnant right now. Like, you really weren't careful.
I mean, maybe she was. We don't know. Maybe Seth has just got that Messiah sperm. By the way, we're also assuming Seth is the dad. I mean, we're pretty sure he's the dad. Almost positive.
They made reference to it.
Yeah. Apparently later in the show, Shayna Baszler was like, "This kid's gonna suck. Do you know who the father is? Because I do."
And and she said, and you know who the dad is?
Yeah.
Enough said.
This kid's gonna suck.
They made enough references to it that it is Seth.
Sarah was like, "How come Seth isn't in the back celebrating with her?"
Yeah, go and stand with your woman. I get it. She has
the story, the kayfabe.
Yeah, she has to stand alone. She's the man. She's a strong woman and whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. Be a little real with us now. We know you're with your man.
Yeah.
Let him come out and embrace you too.
Is Jason Jordan. He comes on. He's like, "I am actually the father." And we're like, "What?"
You need to stop doing storylines no one believes.
And then Becky's like, "It was just a one-time thing." I tried to do a Becky voice. I was like, "No, I can't do a Becky voice."
Her voice is awful.
She was like, "It was a one-time thing. How dare you?" And
She
you
licks
don't
her
even
lips a lot.
Huh?
Like she's a smoker.
Her voice says that she's a smoker, like something.
I think the fact that she's from Ireland says that she's from Ireland.
Maybe. I want to hear somebody from Ireland that sounds like.
Not Seamus?
Yeah, not them. Yeah.
What? Do you want to hear someone from Ireland that has like a southern accent or something?
No. Just, like Mandy Rose or something.
I think he
It's
wants
like,
to hear a Scottish person.
Oh, like Groundskeeper Willie.
Or Gordon Ramsay. He's Scottish.
Oh my God.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. I just thought he was like a British guy or whatever. I didn't know he was Scottish.
But I will say her speech...
I'm sorry.
God, her speech did get me a little bit emotional.
Oh, yeah. Totally. The way we were laying on the couch, I was crying.
Yeah.
Thank goodness you didn't look at me because I was crying.
I was crying too.
Aw.
It was. Did it not jerk at your tears?
I was just so disappointed. Like I'm happy for her, obviously. Like, cool. Yeah. But it's like, I feel like a big opportunity has been just given away.
Dang. I mean, she'll be back.
I do.
It'll be like 2 years, but she'll be back.
But I don't think she'll be in the spot that she is right now. Like, you heard about the possible Marvel, like, contract, the possible, like, there's just so much lined up right now that will never be like that again. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, I'd heard about the Marvel thing. I don't know if they would make her a hero. That'd be dope if she was some sort of hero, even like a background hero.
If she's involved in whatever. Look at what happened with Drax. Like, it's big opportunities, big movies, big contracts. Like, this not going to happen again. Like, you could be a mommy later. You're not 50.
And I'm just going to stand by what I said. It's that Messiah sperm. You could try to block it. Like, what God says goes. And if you're the Messiah, it's basically the finger of
You
God.
wrote it.
Yeah.
You wrote writing something else, but you erased it.
And see, there you go. We opened the show talking about sex like we always do. Oh, man. Okay, so how have you been the week that we've been gone?
I would be better if I owned a T-shirt like Sarah, a Backstreet Boys shirt. What year is Backstreet Boys there?
Oh, shoot.
Oh, man.
Oh, this is Black and Blue, one of my favorites.
Okay, is that a date right there? No, that says Backstreet Boys.
So Black and Blue would be what, 2005, 3, 4?
Is that a concert shirt?
It is.
Okay, turn around. All right, it says World Tour.
I don't think there's a date.
There's no date. Like, what the fuck? What? Okay, so what? Black and Blue came out in early
what I'm
2000s. We were
saying.
in high school, right?
I think it was 2003. Obviously, the Millennium came out in 2000.
Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty dumb if the Millennium album came out in 2002.
This was before that.
Black and Blue was after, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, according to Wikipedia,
Here we
the
go.
album Black and Blue by the Backstreet Boys was released on November 15th, 2000.
Oh.
Wow. God, look at these cheesy
So then the
album
Millennium
covers.
album was 1999 or 98?
The Millennium album, according to Wikipedia, came out May 18th, 1999.
Told you.
So they did it like a car.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's next year's.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah. So there you go.
God, if I didn't know that, I'd have to take the shirt off. Not in front of y'all.
Oh man. Okay. So yeah, Sarah is wearing a vintage Backstreet Boys concert shirt from the.
Wait, I think you think Black and Blue came out before Millennium?
Yeah, it was older than that. Oh, no. You're right.
But not by much.
Not by much.
I mean, I don't.
So what did you say right
'Cause I
before
was-
this?
I can't remember.
She's taking the shirt off?
No.
I'll record.
it.
I'll look that way. I'll record looking that way. But I want.
It gets stuck on her head. She's like, I can get it. And I'm just like, I've never noticed. And do you struggle like this every time? Do they all get stuck on your head? And you're like, yes. I try to do it in the other room and you're not looking. And I think back to all the times that we've had to change, get
She
ready to go
closes
somewhere.
the door.
I'm always like, I've never actually seen you change a shirt. And you're just like, yeah, I need butter. I'm sorry, what? It's always a thing. I always wonder, why when I go to do laundry and I have to wash some of her clothes, why do they always smell like popcorn?
It smells great.
Because that damn Pam nonstick cooking spray I cook with.
Oh, God, that's awesome. All right. Manuel, how has your week been?
Good. I had somebody come by the house and do some work, just patch up a few things on the roof.
So it wasn't spiritual patchwork.
Oh, no.
Damn it.
No.
Okay.
Nothing's happened since the paranormal, the
Okay.
activity movie day.
Damn it.
I told you about that, right?
Yeah.
Javier wanted to watch it again, and I wanted Jaime to watch it because he hadn't seen it, and we walk sometimes. So we talked about it, and we watched it again. Nothing happened.
Okay. Okay. And I assume the kids haven't seen or heard anything?
Mm-mm.
God, I just can't imagine what it's like to live in a house that could be haunted.
But then...
And then, like, after the fact, be like, oh, yeah, it's totally cool that I heard what I heard in the hallway. I'm just going to sleep. It's totally cool.
No, I know they're spooked, but because it's not consistent, you know,
Yeah.
and they're not being dragged down the hallway. It's like, maybe I imagined it, you know? Like, there's no concrete proof.
Yeah.
Now, if they had a recording, I think that would fuck them up.
Dude, that would be, yeah.
But it is true. It is very sporadic.
Yeah.
Like, even from day one, when I was reintroduced to y'all, and you showed me the video, you were sweeping in your living room and you heard the bang.
Yeah.
It was that, and then several weeks or days, however long it was, the next thing happened.
Wasn't there like some sort of howling outside?
Yeah, that was
Okay, I
another
remember, yeah, you had audio of that, but I remember you telling us a story that there was like scratching at a window.
Yeah.
Or the blinds on the outside or
Yeah.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Something was fucking up, and was it going from room to room, or was it just in the living room?
I remember it was in the master bedroom, and then we could hear it in the living room, but I don't know if it went the whole way around.
But like, wasn't there a time when you were by the back door, heard it, and then you immediately opened the back door, and there was nothing there that could have made the sound?
That was the knock, because I was like, someone's knocking at 2 a.m.
Oh, someone
Yeah.
was knocking on that back door?
Yeah, similar to the knock that we all heard together.
Okay.
And that's why I was like, who's here? Like, it's a knock. It's not a mistake. Like,
Yeah, it was like a full-on, was it like a...
Someone knocked, yeah.
Like a Tuesday... Okay, wow.
Open the door, nobody's there, cameras never went off. Like,
Uh-huh. God dang.
I'm sorry, I can't remember that the time when I went to the restroom. When I came out, I asked if you had shutters. What did that sound like anything to y'all other than?
we didn't
Shutters
hear
to me?
anything.
No?
And
Oh,
then
no.
you came out, you were like, were you guys playing? Yeah, you thought, I think we were
I thought you
playing.
had shutters.
Yeah.
And I thought the wind was blowing.
Oh, I thought you had seen somebody through that little window.
No, I only heard
And
it.
was worried and was like, was somebody looking in here?
No, but
No,
she was
he
like,
had-
was somebody out there? Because I think I heard you guys. And I'm like, no, nobody's left the house. Or
I think by that time he had installed the blinds in there.
Oh,
Because
okay.
before I was like ducking for cover the whole time.
And you got to understand, okay, the window in the restroom is kind of high. I mean, it would have been, you had to put forth effort if you wanted to peek through and be like,
somebody's
hey.
got to come. Yeah.
Yeah, and they look down on Sarah. He's like, hey, what are you
You
doing?
never know.
You pooping? And all you see is just the eyes and they're peeking, looking down at you.
I'm sure there are logs out there people can find.
Manuel, there are logs out there? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure somewhere. It's the country.
Or a brick.
Can you, when you cover your mouth and you're saying funny stuff or you're saying something, is it just your eyes communicating?
Oh, yeah. I want to
Dude.
communicate that, like, all you see is just, because their
That's
eyes.
what you just did. You covered your
And they're
mouth.
looking
you're
over.
Like, are you pooping? And they just looked funny.
with the eyeballs looking down at Sarah, and she's like, Okay, what I want to what I was talking about, being comfortable sleeping in a haunted house. Like, let's say we're done recording here, and you leave, and we get ready to go to bed. I cut through here, this room, to go to the kitchen all the time. If I went through this way, and then Sarah fell asleep on the couch, came back, and then for whatever reason, like hours later, went back to the kitchen, and all the furniture was flipped over and on the table, I don't know how cool I'd be with a week from now falling asleep in this house. That's what I'm trying to,
Sure.
that's what I'm trying to convey. Because just think about it. If that happened, it would have happened with us literally in the next room and so quietly that I never would have heard it.
Yeah.
And that's what's really like crazy. It's not something that's, I guess, like out to get you, but it's a striking thing. I just don't know. And especially if I heard what the kids at your place allegedly heard, which was like a small child crying down
in the hallway.
Yeah. I was like, okay, it was a one-time thing. There's a knocking here and there, whatever. I just don't know how cool I'd be with that. And there's nothing you could do. You're not like, I can't go live in a hotel. I can't go elsewhere.
And remember, they hear it and they think it's the TV or they think it's me playing something, right?
Yeah.
And so then, like, at first it's like, well, I can blame it on them. They blame it on me. But it's not until we confront each other. And it's like, no, what are you talking about?
Oh, man.
That's when it's like, oh, shit. Wait, so did I make that up? Did I hear that? Did I actually hear that?
Yeah.
But the furniture upside down on the table, that is concrete. That's like, that's a challenge.
Have y'all ever heard of a case in real life where, you said it's not anything extreme like in the paranormal movies where someone gets dragged down a hallway? Has that ever actually happened in real life? Like during a possession that wasn't like an exorcism? Someone's in a haunted house, they believe, and then they'd be chilling on the ground and they just get dragged.
I just don't think we have proof of it. But there's people that have stories.
Have you ever heard of anything like that, Sarah?
I guess the same thing. It's their own account of the event, but then it'll just be reenacted.
Yeah. So I'm going to compare Paranormal Activity to The Conjuring. The way that they, projected horror in there was, you remember in the scene in the movie where the little girl is sleeping and she didn't get dragged out of bed, but her comforter kept getting yanked down. And as she kept pulling it back up, eventually like her foot got yanked and she got pulled down to the second half of the bed, the bottom half. She didn't get yanked down onto the floor, but that was enough to like wake her up. And she was like, what the hell could that have been? I just don't know if a haunting can get to the level of a Paranormal Activity, but I can totally see someone getting yanked to the bottom half of their bed by their foot. And then it stops. Or the bed shakes.
Without watching Paranormal Activity 1, I knew that if you spoke to the ghost directly and you taunted it, that was bad news.
Yeah.
And so that is one rule that I don't allow in the house.
And that's what I was like, hey, we need to try to entice it. And you're like, no, because I got to live here.
Never. So that's the thing we don't break. We don't talk to it. We don't command to it. We don't any of that. And we don't record. Because I feel that would put us, we're level 1,
Yeah.
That would give us a violent shove to like level 3.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's fair enough. Yeah.
And they did that in Paranormal. They did do that.
The only recording allowed was the security camera, just like the movies.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
And that security camera I took out, I was just there for the workers, wanted to make sure nothing crazy happened,
Yeah. Okay. Sarah, in the time that we've been gone, you have apparently been dealing with the injured shoulder somehow.
Yeah.
It
It really came out of the blue.
Yeah, how does it feel today?
It's better. I'm not fiddling with it so much. I'm not
Have you been drinking
it.
more?
I mean...
Alcohol? Water?
Oh,
is this a thing that you've had or
No,
you got injured?
It just came up. And you would think I'd be working on something or I'd be doing my actual job and getting injured somehow. Nope. Which, me feeling like I'm waking up and having this shoulder problem, it reminds me of a regular I do have. She warned me that she woke up one day and just had symptoms of a frozen shoulder where you can lift it up so much until you have to assist yourself. Like your whole body has to. You can't have a smooth motion like that. She told me that her doctor had told her that's very not very common, but common enough that women in their 30s just out of nowhere can get frozen shoulder.
Yeah.
And so that day came for me and I'm like, okay, this is day 3. I'm not feeling any better.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh shit, am I in the process of getting frozen shoulder? I'm going to be 31.
Like
no.
you just hit 30.
But I've been working on it, and the tennis ball is my best friend again. And I'm just working on everything in my shoulder girdle. So like from pec to underneath, no matter how bad it hurts, all around here, just anywhere a muscle would support the joint. And it's getting better. So I think the only motion, I was having a little bit of trouble, and it's stupid enough. I had a hair right here, and for some reason I thought it'd be cute and try and grab it from here. Instead of going to the front, and then I noticed, oh, that actually kind of hurts. So I've been slowly working on that, and so
the motion that Sarah just did was kind of like if she were to get arrested, she put her hands behind her back and she was
put
reaching.
one arm behind my back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel it. I even still feel it right here, but I was feeling it here.
Okay.
And so I know what that muscle is. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to target that and then anything else around it. So it's getting better.
For those of you who know how wrestling works, hammerlock.
That's a hammerlock.
It's a hammerlock, and then she feels a pinch.
But poor Nick, I had him use some of his forearm and elbows just all along my shoulders, and it felt like nothing was helping. And
I don't know what I'm doing.
It's been a process.
And I'm just like, she goes, are you okay? And I'm sitting there awkwardly with like my arms kind of like across my chest, and I've got my elbows digging into her shoulders. And, okay, I guess that's doing something, but eventually I started to get tired because that's an awkward position for me to be in. And so I'm just like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in it. Like I would put pressure, she would feel it, it'd be good for her. And then I'm just like, okay.
Maybe, do you have something like that? Like when you wake up, is there a routine you go through at all?
No, I just wake up, grab my clothes, go into the restroom, not brush my teeth, get dressed, and then
Then brush my teeth.
Well, eat,
then
then brush your teeth.
then brush my teeth.
Yeah.
And then like that's the only reason I come out of the bedroom to go in there to change is because I want to listen to like NPR or the morning news, anything. And I don't want, she's still sleeping. I don't want to bother her. That's the only reason I leave the room.
Yeah. So maybe I just don't think about it. But now that you mentioned the shoulder thing, when I wake up, sometimes I do have to like twist my chest like this so that it twists. Like if I sit up, I have to turn a little bit to the left and feel my chest kind of separate a little bit.
Yeah.
And then a little bit to the right, make sure it's both evenly. And then I'll move my shoulder. Sometimes I have to pop it in like this and it like pops.
Wow.
And then I'll do the left one too, but it's not like dislocated. It's just like to make sure that I can move.
Limber.
Yeah.
I've never had to do anything like that. Of course there are times when I have like lower back pain for whatever reason. No, my daily routine is not getting up and doing any type of stretching of my shoulders or back. I just get up and go about my business.
Yeah, and this isn't all the time, but sometimes when I feel like I'm like my body's still like asleep or what did you say, the shoulder, the frozen shoulder, like when I feel like my body's like really needs like help, that's when I do that.
Yeah, I mean the only times that I ever wake up and I have some sort of shoulder problem, it's my fault. Stupid me, I rolled onto my shoulder in my sleep and I've stayed that way.
That's how I sleep most of the night sometimes.
See, that's
on one
so
shoulder
crazy.
or the other shoulder.
I don't understand how people can do it without waking up with it in knots.
That's okay. So when I do, and then when I wake up on that shoulder, I know I have to
it
get
hurts.
up. I'm like, okay, and that's when I adjust my shoulder.
Like sometimes when me and you cuddle up on the couch and we watch movies, you're sometimes laying more on your back and you're leaning against me. I have to be totally on my side. And then by the end of the movie, I'm like, God, my shoulder is killing me. I need to move it, because, I don't know, I'm bigger than you. Or maybe I just don't know how to lay on my side properly. And I've been doing it wrong this whole time. I don't know.
No, it hurts. Yeah.
But I do like to sleep on my belly. But then the downside of that is that sometimes like my neck starts to hurt.
If you're sleeping on your belly?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're holding your head up.
It's because my head's in the pillow and it's elevated. Okay, but then sometimes I remove the pillow and it still hurts. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
I don't see...
Because you don't naturally stay like this to look anywhere. So why would you do that to sleep, too?
Well, I mean, if I did, I would die. Face in the mattress.
That's why you should just sleep on the massage table.
Grab Nick by the head and pick him up. What'd you say? Can I have some water?
That way you can literally just sleep.
Oh, yeah.
We should buy those massage beds that have the hole, and then we can sleep face down.
I mean, she does have one of those.
Oh, well, dude.
And I go into that other room and sleep in there while she sleeps on the bed.
She's like, where am I going to sleep? I don't know. Sleep on my back. Hey, that might be good for your back.
That's a good idea right there. And then there's those times when I sleep on my back, on my stomach, and then Sally gets on my back. And then my neck starts to hurt. And I don't want to do anything because I'm like, oh, she's on my back and she's sleeping.
I have told you to close the door. And you're like, no, but then they can't come in. I thought that's the point.
When we did it at the apartment, she would cry.
Oh, that's
Really?
right.
She
Yeah.
would fucking cry.
You're denying her something that she's always had access to. And, look at her. She's
Sally?
more than spoiled. So when you deny her the access of, hey, I'm not going to sleep out here. I want to sleep with them. And then she goes up to the door and like she'll start pawing under the door and then she'll start like crying to the point where you'd think that if we don't do something, like she's going to disturb our neighbors. It's fucking midnight.
Really?
Yeah.
It was bad. But it might be better now because now Kitty's here.
Yeah.
Because I think one night one of them was pissing me off so much and I would kick them out and leave the door closed. But definitely on a couple of occasions, one of them was pissing me off. So I was like, get out. Yeah. And we slept with the door closed for the rest of the night. And they were fine.
Probably because they have each other. Maybe.
Lock them both in one room. And then if they start throwing a fit, then open that door and let them roam the house. That way it's like they had it really bad and now it's just bad. And they'll be okay with bad.
Now you'll learn to like each other.
They need to understand what it's like.
We just want y'all to bait each other.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Why can't that happen?
If we ever saw them cuddling and one of them bathing the other one, oh my God, I think we'd be like, take us now. We'll die happy.
Yep.
We're good, Lord. Thumbs up.
I mean, look at her. She's laying down at her feet in a loaf.
Oh, and her nose is nice and pink. Oh.
That right there
I
is
can't.
Perfect.
that's entitlement right there.
She says, I am happily fed. I can nap now.
She doesn't have to work for anything ever. And then she's still like, I want to go outside. And she still tries to sneak out.
I'm an outdoors cat.
Yeah. And you can't beat
She
instinct.
wishes she was.
Yeah, her street cred is
Nothing.
just nothing.
Starts pawing at
Whereas
the
Kitty's
door.
fucking smart. We'll leave the door open. She'll just look out.
Been there, done that.
Yep.
She's got the battle
Like-
scars to show it.
She's social distancing away from the door. She's literally 6 feet away from the door looking out. Like, oh, okay, they'll be right back. She knows we will come back.
Yeah. And then, we've been having a couple of nights ago, there were two cats that were arguing out in our yard, but they had started in the backyard. Sarah's laying on the couch asleep.
Two different cats.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I was watching a movie and I heard a cat from the back of the house.
Oh, context. These two cats usually hang around here. It's a orange tabby. He usually likes to sleep to the close vicinity of the house. Mm-hmm. Or he'll crawl underneath when we come up on him because he's scared.
Yeah.
And then on a couple of occasions, he's actually slept on the roof.
Oh, that was really cute. Yeah.
And then there's a gray cat, a very light gray cat
Yeah.
that comes around here too.
And you guys don't know who they belong to. They're just around.
I could have sworn it's our landlord's cats, but I think they're the neighborhood cats.
Yeah. So I had heard screaming from the backyard of a cat.
Can you tell me which kind of scream? Since I don't know much about cats.
It was
I'm picturing
what it originally sounded like was like
Like,
Sally when she does like her yowling, like if she wants something.
Well, Sarah gave us like a little bit of sound, but
No,
is
it was
that
like
what you mean?
That type of
I see. Okay.
so that sort of thing. Like either it wanted attention, it needed help.
Or back the fuck up.
Yeah, something like that. And it was happening in the backyard. And so, I'm over here watching a movie and I think I hear that. And then it happens again, but it's more brief than the first one. And my mind starts racing what it could be. And then it's like, that's a fucking kitten. Like, I need to go back there and save a fucking kitten.
No.
And I go over there, I open the door and I have my flashlight and I turn on the light and I look and there's nothing in the backyard. Okay, maybe I'm just crazy. Whatever. I go back to the couch and start watching the movie again. And then like an hour later, I hear it from the front of the house. And I was like, oh, that's a fucking cat. Like, that cat's in trouble because I only heard the one cry. And I shook Sarah awake. And of course, she doesn't remember this. I was like, wake up. Do you remember that? Do you remember when I woke you? Of course you don't. But this time you had fully woken up and you even heard it. And she was like, okay, go check it out. So I go and check it out. And there's the orange cat and this white grayish cat sitting literally like 5 inches apart. And they're just glaring at each other. And one of them is doing that.
So that's what you mean by arguing.
Yeah, they were
both-
arguing, but it was
Okay.
like one cat was yelling at the other one, and I thought, what the hell kind of fight is this? Y'all, they weren't even in a stance of like, let's fight. One of them was laying on his side, and the orange one was like just sitting just in front of him, and they were meowing this meow at each other, and that's the type of fight they were having. So it was like a real lazy argument.
They're saying, no, it's my turn.
And then here I come, and I'm like, hey, get the fuck out of here, man. God damn it. And I'm like, if y'all are going to fight, go fight at the high school. And I start marching through the yard. And like the gray cat looks at me like, who's this guy? Is he with you? And then the orange one turns and look at me like, the fuck, buddy? And then I was like, get the hell out of here. And the orange one kind of scuttles off. And then the white one's like, psh, I don't even want to be in this yard anyway. And then they just kind of go their separate ways. And I was like, stupid cats. And as I like turned around and walked away, I heard one of them go,
Talking shit.
and I was like, was he talking shit to me? Or was he
Yeah.
talking to the other cat like, yeah, you're lucky your friend came.
Wow, that sounds just like Sally.
To somebody.
Somebody was talking shit. Yeah. And I don't know who. And then I came back inside. I was like, I handled it. The cats are dispersed.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, that was that random night earlier this
funny.
week. And of course you don't remember nothing.
No.
There were like 3 times this past week that I had to wake up Sarah for something. And she never remembers.
We're going to have to write these moments down because I have a Madison moment where she doesn't remember. And now it's like I know I told you guys about the other one, but one just happened recently where she doesn't remember again.
Yeah.
And I tell her the next thing, she's like, no, what? And I'm like, are you serious? Huh. We should write these moments down and then give the top 3 or top 5.
Tally it up over the course of like 14 days and be like, all right, this happened, blah, blah, blah.
She was sleeping on the couch and I said, go to bed. And she said no. But she like immediately responded and I was like, okay. So you're just going to sleep on the couch? Like, go sleep in the bed. You're tired.
No,
and
but
she
that
didn't
couch
say
is
anything.
super comfy.
And then I turned on the video. I was like, okay, well, since you're up. And she has her eyes open. I turned the video, a YouTube video I wanted to show her. And then she's like, I already saw this video. And starts getting up and like putting her sandals on like she's going to bed. And I'm like, so you are going to bed? And then she just turns back and looks at me and then leaves. And
was
I was
she
like,
sleepwalking?
She doesn't remember anything.
That's so scary.
None of that. She got up and went to bed by herself.
Madison!
Yeah, all of that happened, and she does not remember it because I was like, "So you just didn't like the video, or what?" And she's like, "What video?" And I was like, "I showed you
her
a
eyes
video."
were open.
She was open.
Creepy,
eyes
dude.
open, awake, everything. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I will say there have been instances where I barely remember going to bed, but sometimes I don't remember how I got to bed.
Yeah, okay. That doesn't creep you out? Like, you fell asleep on the couch. You wake up to go to work, and you're in the bed.
I mean, of
And
course
you're
it
just
does.
like, and you're just like, how did this happen? Well, it happened. It was like, 1 o'clock in the morning. Hey, Sarah. Hey, wake up. What? Come on, let's go to bed. No, come on. Before at 10 o'clock, you were like, hey, if I fall asleep on the couch, wake me up and take me to bed. And I'm like, and you're not going to get mad? No.
And
Are
I'm
you
not
sure?
mad.
And then when it happens, she's like, how did I get in here? And I'm like, God damn it, that was me.
So your memory's
Well, no, see,
foggy.
I know it was because of Nick or whoever else I was with, because I even did this when I was a kid. So I know someone takes me to bed.
That part for sure happens. But waking up and you're like, where the hell? Oh, I'm in bed.
Yeah.
That would be, yeah.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back in segment 2, we are going to get into some non-news news right here on the SickSadCast. Oi. Okay, so we're back.
Whoa.
And Sarah has
Ooh.
something for us to try. What is this? Oh,
What's it smell like? What? What's wrong?
It smells like chocolate milk.
this is called it's a type of
Milkita.
candy. Yeah, a Milkita. It is a chocolate shake candy.
I went to the Asian market today.
And they come in little tiny individually
Oh,
wrapped
they're little.
packets.
Okay.
Yeah, they're very little.
I can have a dose of this. It's little.
ASMR, y'all.
Come on, pudgy fingers.
And so I only have pizza now with pizza. I only have Coke with pizza now.
Nice.
Because that's a special,
Ooh.
like
Ooh, man, that smells like good chocolate.
It tastes like a Tootsie Roll. I feel
Ah.
Hey, man. Tootsie Roll is an institution.
It's a fucking Tootsie Roll.
That is true. It literally does taste like a Tootsie Roll.
Chocolate shake my ass. This is another candy my brother used to be obsessed with.
A
Tootsie
Milkita?
Rolls.
Oh.
I was gonna say, really? That's impressive.
I
A
love
Milkita.
Milkita.
No, Tootsie Rolls.
Difference between a malt and a shake. A shake has ice cream, right?
Right.
And a malt is just a powder.
Ooh.
I don't remember.
know.
Because I'm trying to remember, in A Christmas Story, Ralphie, he drinks the Ovaltine and all that other stuff, and that's literally just milk and a powder. But I can't remember if that is considered a shake or a malt. I think it's a malt. And I think once you add ice cream, it becomes a shake
These are the questions.
that nobody seems to know the answers to.
Google will. A shake is usually when you mix your ice cream or frozen yogurt, milk, and flavoring in the blender. A malt is when you add the malted milk powder after you've mixed your shake.
Oh.
So it's an additional ingredient.
Oh, so you add it to the ice cream and all that stuff
Right.
too, right? Oh, okay. All right, that's cool. You guys want to get into some non-news news?
Yes.
All right. These Murder Hornets, we've all seen them, right? on YouTube. They're
And
everywhere.
on some social
And,
media.
It's staggering how big they are. So we're just going to discuss briefly these murder hornets. I'm sure they have like a better scientific name. I'm sure that when someone found them, they're probably like, yeah, you know, they come up with all these weird names. Yeah, the Beecius massivistus.
The massivistus.
That means massive bee. But then someone's like, hey man, that's a murder hornet, bro. The first sighting of these large 2-inch hornets was reported on May 2nd, and many experts are worried that their arrival could do some serious damage to the insect ecosystem. Murder hornets are known to wipe out whole colonies of regular honeybees within hours, and in Japan, they are known to kill about 50 people a year. Now, from 2000 to 2016, the average deaths a year from bee/wasp or hornet attacks in the U.S. is about 55 men and 60 women. So roughly 110 people die each year.
From bees.
From bees. Honeybees, hornets, or wasps. So now we got another thing to deal with. As of now, the new massive hornets have only been sighted in 2 states, and the fear of disruption of the bee population is the average bee pollinates about 75% of the fruits, nuts, and veggies are grown in the U.S. Beekeepers across the country have announced plans to lay out traps for the new murder hornets to protect their hives, using a mixture of orange juice and cooking wine, but the bait could also attract normal honeybees as well.
I thought you were going to say honey badgers. I was like, oh my gosh.
These murder hornets kill the colonies of the other bees as they go in, and they literally just like mow down the opposition. And the honeybee, I mean, they can attack you, but like this is like a senior in high school attacking third graders with the size comparison. And what these hornets do is they grab the little bee.
Which you would laugh at, by the way. If a senior popped a third grader for going like, I just stabbed on you.
I gotta admit, if I saw a child get chest kicked by a senior in high school, I might laugh. But
Little third grader pumping his chest, get some. And then a senior goes, boom.
And then that little kid gets shut down. He's like, man, I was just playing. You know, but yeah, he was yelling, get some. Apparently the murder hornets, they take the little honeybee and they rip the head off of the little bee. And then they take the body of the bee and crush it into a smaller ball. And then they carry the carcass back to their colony and they feed the dead carcass of the honeybee to their larvae.
Yikes.
That's what they do. So apparently, like, their larvae are like, I guess, the size of like a regular bee because they're like Viking bees. It's fucking huge. So yeah, there's videos on YouTube of these murder hornets annihilating bee colonies, and I wanted to watch it, but I was like, it seems like I don't know if it's animal cruelty because I don't know.
And you're like, I'd be supporting it.
I'd feel bad because I'm like, these bees are just doing their thing, making honey, and these motherfuckers roll in and start ripping heads off.
And then eating you. Eating the bodies. That's like what would happen with us if we had the worst case scenario for coronavirus. So like, let's say this never goes away and it's coronavirus. It's COVID-19 still, but now it's 2025.
Yeah.
So now we're ripping people's heads off and feeding them to our children because we need to eat.
Oh, I was going to say, so you mean that the virus would have then evolved and now we're zombies?
Zombies aren't real. That's like, somebody said
They're
that
not
like,
real yet, God damn it.
That's not a real, I don't think that'll ever be real. Ever. Like, it's a cool cartoon concept.
Okay. Sarah, what say you?
I think the closest encounter that we had was the
Chupacabra.
guy. No, the guy in Florida several years ago that was high on bath salts.
Yeah. Of course it came from Florida, but yeah.
Yeah. Hashtag
Only did
pound
you
sign
prep
because of
that?
Flora. No.
Now, do you remember that story?
I do.
You do? Okay. I remember when I read that story originally, I thought, I guess I was at a desk or something, but I remember grabbing either the table or the desk that I was at and reading it on my phone, and I was like, it's happening. This is it. And of course it would start in Florida. I remember telling Sarah a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago, about the time that I was leaving my old job coming back from Houston, and I was on 288, and I thought that the zombie apocalypse had started, judging by the traffic that was around me, because there were so many people trying to leave Houston, and there was like no one trying to go into Houston. And, you know, I'm coming down 288, coming back down to Alvin, and on the left, you know, I see 2 cop cars. Okay, whatever. And then I see an ambulance. And then I see like 2 or 3 more cop cars, and then a fire truck. And I'm thinking, okay, there's something up going on down here. And then like almost shortly after that, there was a helicopter that flew over me. And I thought, okay, that's kind of weird. because that's never happened before.
Nick.
And then there was on my left more cop cars, and then like 2 more helicopters flying down 288. And I thought something's going on. I didn't want to think it was zombies, but I did call either my girlfriend at the time or my family and told them to turn on the news to tell me what was happening. I was like, is there an emergency happening in Houston? And they, of course, thought I was being weird, but I wasn't telling them. I just want to make sure it's not zombies. I didn't want to tell them that. Because, oh, God. Okay.
Nick.
Hearing what
I
I
think
just
Manuel
told
is
you.
now questioning y'all's friendship.
Okay.
No. It's
Hearing
just-
what I just explained, obviously there was no zombie outbreak.
There won't be one that's made up.
What would you have thought if you had seen all that activity around you? Because, you know, it's when you see some sort of emergency crew in that type of capacity.
When that happens, and
I'm
that
just like,
happens
what's
a
happening?
lot, when there's like a lot of ambulances or something, I always look up to the sky. I always think the world is ending. Like in like I want to see the asteroid. Like I want to,
Yeah.
you know, like everybody's freaking out, then I got to go see it too. You know, and be like, okay, this is it.
So you would have thought driving home from work, this is the end of the world.
That's what I always go to. Not zombies. Not,
I mean, but it is a version of the end of the world.
it is made up. It's made up. Like it's like what I'm trying to think of some far fetched like. Sometimes we turn into animals, right? Like, is there a movie like that where we turn into animals, or
I recently saw a movie called Wolf Cop.
why?
In the next topic, we'll talk about like why. So
He is binging a lot of stuff on Shudder.
Wolf Cop
Oh yeah, and by the way, there's an alien dick involved too.
in Wolf Cop.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
On Shudder.
Oh yeah, that's right. You saw part of that movie. Okay,
I
Sarah,
did.
if you saw that type of vehicular activity around Houston, what would you have thought was happening?
Crime scene.
Okay, that
Nothing
sounds-
out of this world, or
No,
just
absolutely a crime scene.
Okay, so is there ever a situation that you could think of where you would think this is zombies?
No.
Damn it. Okay, so
something extraordinary. No,
No.
she's like,
okay.
yep, that's what
so
happens.
he thinks asteroid. You think crime scene. I'm always gonna think, oh man, that's a lot of
'Cause
activity.
For
We
me,
got zombies.
anything paranormal would not get that big. It's always an
Yeah.
intimate thing, which is probably why I like it.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so yes, the next thing I want to talk about is I want to just talk about how good of a job that the streaming service at Shudder has been putting on lately. I have been getting definitely like my $8 a month worth out of it, dude. It is basically Netflix, but just horror. And so already I'm in. And so I just started like kind of dipping my toe in and watching these weird movies through a show called The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. And I had told Sarah, because she was like, that's a stupid name.
It's a very redneck name.
it's not made up.
I mean, he's a made-up character. Joe Bob Briggs is not his real name.
Oh, thank God.
But this is a persona that he's had since he used to do like a movie marathon show on the movie channel, TMC. And then he got picked up by TNT, and they did a thing called Monster Vision. And he's always done these type of marathon type shows, but there's really not a place where you could air a show like that and people would watch. And so Shudder is like the perfect place for this sort of thing. And it's through him in bumpers between like segments of the movie. He'll sit and he'll either interview somebody or he'll tell stories about the making of the movie. And it's totally different than watching like behind the scenes. And then he goes on these random rambles about just weird topics. And I'm really getting a kick out of watching his stuff. And it was through him that I started watching these random movies. And the first one that I watched was Wolf Cop.
Who owns Shudder?
Who owns it? I don't know who owns Shudder.
Like who's putting money behind?
I don't know. I don't know.
So why did you watch Wolf Cop? Like if I heard just the title alone, I'd be like, no.
Yeah, the Blu-ray cover shows a man and he's a cop, and he's he's a werewolf and he's got his gun.
course
And
he is.
he's wearing the aviators and it says half man, half wolf, all cop. Like, it's
This sounds like a joke. Like a joke we made up.
and it totally was worth it, man. There was a small town that was crooked, and there were some people that were doing some sort of black magic, and they were messing around with wolfbane. And when you do that, of course, something's going to happen, and someone's going to become a werewolf. And there was like some drug runners in the small town, and the small cop got caught in the middle, but he's also a werewolf, and blah, blah, blah. And the first transformation was he was at a bar and he wasn't feeling well because there was a full moon. He goes into the restroom and he starts peeing. And then he's like, oh, God. And he's looking at his hands and they're getting all furry and his skin starts to explode. And like the camera cuts to like a down angle and we see his dick, right? And it's swelling up. And then suddenly it splits and there's like this big wiener of hair. And Sarah was like, was that his dick?
Was that necessary?
Dude.
Oh my God. And yeah, I watched the whole thing and I liked it. I thought it was going to be really stupid because it sounds dumb. But yeah, I really enjoyed Wolf Cop. And Sarah was cognizant. She was playing her game on her phone, but she at least experienced most of the movie. Mm-hmm. What did you think of it? No?
Not for everybody.
It was very D-rated.
And that's exactly
I mean,
what...
the effects were good, I suppose.
Yeah, for a movie that was very cheap, those effects, dude, they all went into the werewolf costume. You know, the blood when people got shot or whatever it was, when it was, the blood was just, man. But dude, that wolf outfit, especially during the transformations, was especially very good. We recently watched a movie called Z, and I remember I got onto our chat thread, and I was like, y'all should really like go check this movie out.
Yikes.
How did you feel about watching Z?
It scared me.
That's what Nick said. Nick said it was actually pretty scary.
It scared me.
But then you did like the CM Punk movie, which wasn't great.
I did enjoy this.
It wasn't good.
Yeah. Z,
I shouldn't say it wasn't great. It wasn't good.
Z follows a little kid who develops an imaginary friend. And in the world of horror, that's never good. And as the movie progresses, things start to happen that get exponentially worse and worse. And the kid starts acting weird and all that. And then we actually see the entity a couple of times in the movie. And it's just something about how it involves small kids. And I know there's kids out there that do have an imaginary friend. And if I had a kid and they had an imaginary friend, I think one of the first things I would think of is give them a crayon and a paper. And I'd be like, can you draw your friend? Because I want to see him. And if he comes back all fucked up looking, I don't know what to do at that point.
You'd be like, Spencer, you're going to go live with your grandparents.
No, I think we had established that my kid was going to be named Vin.
Vin. That's right.
And you know, she
Vin
is...
Axelrod. Something. Lozano.
Yeah, and Vin is a girl. You know, we have to establish that.
Otherwise, it'd be Vince.
Yeah, and which is dumb. Why would I do that?
Oh my gosh. Vin Axelrod Lozano.
Yes.
Vin Axelrod Lozano.
Yeah.
Nicholas. So when we were talking about names earlier, have you guys made it on Arrested Development to where you meet the lawyer? Not Barry Zuckercorn. The other lawyer that they hire, Bob Law.
Not yet, no.
No. We're on the first lawyer, who's a bumbling idiot. And he doesn't read anything.
Barry Zuckercorn.
They did question, or they did look into hiring another one, and he was very just straight cut, like no shit or anything.
Yeah. With glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's good too. But the other
But no,
guy's
this
name,
one comes later, right?
Yeah, the other guy's name is great. It's that when we're talking about names, I'm like, you could name something as ridiculous as that because his name is Bob, and then his middle name is Lob, L-O-B-E. And I'm sorry, L-O-B.
Okay.
Bob, Lob, and then Law, because he does law,
Yeah.
L-A-W. But if you say that fast enough, it's blah blah blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah blah blah. Yeah. So it's like, well, who are you? Blah blah blah. But he never, like, it's just, that's why I like Arrested. If you pay attention, you're like, dude, this literally, his name is blah blah blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Bob, Lob, Law. Blah blah blah.
Oh my God, that's so good. And it's a joke that
When
keeps
it comes,
going.
yeah, when you see it and you see how serious he takes himself, you're like, oh my gosh.
There was another movie that I got a good kick at, and Joe Bob presented a movie called Brain Damage. Now this one was about a young kid who meets a little blue alien that is phallic shaped, and he looks like a messed up wiener. It's real veiny. I'm not kidding. He's veiny. And he talks to him. He's like, hey, Travis, how you doing? And it's a metaphor for drug abuse because the kid has this leech thing on his back and it pierces his neck and it tickles his brain.
Okay.
And it stimulates him either to orgasm or make him feel euphoric. And so the kid gets like attached to this thing. He's like, I can't live without that thrill. And the brain, the little thing, his name is Elmer. But it's not Elmer as you think, E-L-M. It's A-Y-L-M-E-R. Aylmer, but it's pronounced Elmer. Okay, so this thing is like, he wants to eat brains. So he wants the kid. He's like, hey, I'll make you feel real good. But you gotta take, but I need to kill somebody. And so it will go eat someone's brain, and then he'll be like, all right, a deal's a deal. And he'll stick him in the back of the neck and make him feel good. And at one point, the kid tried to kick the habit, and the Elmer was like, no, that's not going to work. Your chemistry has changed. I can be here all day. Can you? And then there was a montage of him going in through like withdrawal, and he couldn't do it. But there's the most famous scene in this movie is the guy is at a strip club or something, and he finds a girl. They go into the back alley. She wants to have sex. And Elmer has made his way down the dude's back into his pants. So she gets down on her knees, and she's going to like do something. And Elmer goes into the woman's mouth and is eating her brain through her mouth. And then that's when Sarah looks up, because this whole time she was ignoring the movie.
It was fine, but then this ridiculous scene happens.
And so, Sarah, what did you see? How did you feel?
Slob on my knob.
And what made it worse is this thing detaches from the guy. So then I think one of the withdrawal scenes is just dancing around in the sink.
Yeah.
Taunting it. And I'm like, what the fuck are you watching?
Nick.
Horror movies always have to have sex involved, whether it's just sexualized or actual sex.
Yeah.
The werewolf dick.
Now, keep in mind, these are movies that I never would have watched had it not been for Joe Bob's Drive-In. And I'm just like, sure, I'll check it out. It can't be that bad. Joe Bob says, check it out. And I'm like, all right, I'll check it out. And then I'm like,
check it out.
I have not been disappointed yet.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
They have a show called Cursed Films. Now, this is I think 6 episodes, and they're only like 24 minutes apiece. This is actually really good. They focus on movies through horror lore that have been allegedly cursed. You know, on set of The Exorcist, Poltergeist, The Crow, Twilight Zone, the movie. There are stories of unfortunate events.
There's that many movies?
Oh, yeah. And there's more movies that are outside the world of horror, and they briefly talk about that. But for horror movies, they're just like, all right, we're going to discuss in as much detail as we can about how this person died, who was a production hand, and then, you know, this director's brother's house caught on fire, or there was an unfortunate accident on set and someone got injured, and then off-site someone got killed in a very similar fashion as a character in the movie that they were making died. Like there was that part. And the Exorcist episode, I think, is the weakest out of the 6.
You would think it's the strongest.
I would think so, but it really felt about halfway through that they ran out of material, because it was like, okay, there's unfortunate events, people get sick or whatever. So they ended up following an exorcism who goes and does house calls and does exorcism. And half the episode is them with this guy, and he kind of performs one, and the person like throws up or something. And it was informative, but it didn't feel like it belonged in this type of thing. And the two most interesting ones was Twilight Zone, the movie, and The Crow, because of Brandon Lee's death on set. You know, he was the son of Bruce Lee. And then people died on the set of Twilight Zone, the movie. And that one, I think, shook me the most, because there's production footage of the accident that happened.
Oh.
And so what was going on here was, I don't even know what the segment was of the movie, but they're in like a Vietnam area. You know, they've got like straw houses built, and they're in a war zone. There's a man who's trying to save 2 small children, and he has to wade through waist-deep water to try to get away. Here comes a helicopter. There's explosions, and they didn't really time the explosions right. I think the director wanted them to be much bigger. It ended up messing with the helicopter, which then spiraled out of control, went into the water, and the blades took the life of the man and 2 children. And what makes it worse is that the parents of the children were watching this happen, and the children were not actors. They were actual people who lived in the general area that weren't part of like the Actors Guild, you know, or whatever. Because, you know, you can only have children working so many hours on set, and they can't work beyond a certain period at night.
Yeah.
And so the director was like, we need to do this. It's a night scene. How do we get these kids to do this? And they're like, well, let's just get some locals. And so that's how they did it. And so like the controversy was, who does it fall on? Does it fall on the person who found the kids, or the director that allowed it to happen? And they showed the footage, man, of the chopper going in the water and the dude was running with the 2 kids, and then it just happens. And she was playing her game, and I sat upright and I was like, I cannot believe they fucking showed that. And I rewound it and I showed her. I was like, what?
It's not, it's not a local channel, so you're watching this because you want to.
Yeah.
Or being forced.
I'm not forcing her to watch it. She said, you can watch whatever you want. And I was like, all right.
I know it. Then you're like, stop playing your game. Look at this. There. Are you
Well, my
scarred?
reaction pulled her out of like, whoa, like that was serious. And some of this stuff is really interesting. You know, like I said, there was a scene from The Omen where in the movie, someone backs up a truck and there's like a pane of glass in the bed. And when they stop, the pane of glass slides out and cuts the head off of someone in the movie. There was someone outside that was attached to the movie who like was married to someone who died exactly the same way. And it was just really strange that happened. And it was on 666 Omen Lane, but it was pronounced like Omen. But the letters was O-M-E-N or whatever. And they were just like,
O-M-E-H-N.
it was on the cross of that. And they're like, for it to happen on Omen Lane 666 and the accident happens exactly as it did in the movie. So yeah, I can't recommend Shudder enough. I just watched a movie called Deathgasm and then Night of the Living Dead. And I'm going to go back and watch more.
$7.99 a month?
Up there and about. It's either $6.99 or $7.99. But
Okay.
it's the cheapest next to Disney Plus.
If they hit us up on Twitter at SickSadCast, we can give them our credentials.
Are you talking about Shudder?
Yeah. They take over. They rename the membership and everything. They're like, this is ours now.
Yeah.
You could have just opened your own.
Chris Jericho of AEW, he's a huge fan of Shudder. And he watches Joe Bob too. So,
Joe Bob.
like, I'm not just some loser watching Joe Bob talk
No.
about shitty movies.
That's funny. And now every time I think of Joe Bob, I think of Bob Lob Law.
Oh, man. Okay. It's been a while since I've brought up anything about Florida because of, we were reviewing other things, but
Give Florida a break.
I went and did a quick search and I found 3 more things that I like to share real quick and using the hashtag because Florida. A man stabs his roommate in an attempt to release Satan. Deputies arrived at the Vista Haven Apartments in Sanford, Florida, and found the subject cutting himself with a knife and a victim suffering from a stab wound. The man hurting himself was identified as 25-year-old Joseph Dolish, who resisted deputies and was eventually held down, all while he was saying things such like, "Satan is still inside me," "Satan is coming out of my wound," and "If I can't talk, Satan will kill me." The victim on the ground suffered a stab wound to the chest and was rushed to the hospital. When he was asked about Dolish, the roommate said he was told that the devil was inside him and Dolish needed to get the worm out, which is why he got stabbed. So
Wow.
This guy was like, "You've got the worm. I'm going to cut it out of you." The roommate's like, "What?" And then he got stabbed.
Ew.
Yeah.
And then he faced charges.
And now he's going to face charges. I mean, the cops don't care. They're just like, "Satan, what?" No, you stabbed
So
the guy.
you stabbed a man. Yes. But in all fairness, I let Satan out. You're welcome.
So, like, if you have the Satan worm in you and you're trying to cut it out, that's releasing Satan into the world. That's bad.
Unless you're by your fireplace, then you
Just
just
shove
throw
the
it
friend
right
in
back
there?
in. Yeah.
Okay. Is
And
that
then he says, "Ha ha ha! I live in this, you dumbass."
how you would handle it, Sarah?
No.
If I came out of the bedroom and I was like, "Hey, girl, I've got Satan in me," and you're like, "Oh, this is real sexy time." Oh, you're talking about
She
like
says,
the
"Bring
devil.
it on, daddy," and you're like, "It's not what I expected."
I need you to cut it out of me.
Oh shit!
And then I like rip open my shirt and she goes, "Honey, that's indigestion. That's nothing."
I can get you
She
some
just-
Tums for that.
Starts rubbing you like your stomach. You're like, "Yep, that's gas. That's gas right there."
Let me give you some ginger.
She's like, "If I punched you real hard right here, you're either gonna burp loud or you're gonna toot yourself."
Both your cats are like,
I know the cats are staring at me like, "That fool's the devil."
they're ready. They're I hear a lot of things about cats and them surrounding the underworld and something to do with gates to hell and stuff. Cats
are guarding the gates to hell.
Well, the Egyptians thought
Oh,
so.
okay.
Yeah, but no, there's a lot of things about cats that freak like people out.
Because they're aliens, clearly.
Something about them. Something about these kitty cats.
Look at this cat. She's on her back, Just showing off all her shit to
She's
everybody.
connected to Satan. Can you imagine?
She is the lowest to the ground.
Or according to Peter Mon, they're aliens.
Yeah.
aliens. I mean, people think owls are aliens. There's a connection there.
Well, I could definitely see that. They could look directly behind them. That's creepy.
Yeah.
Remember in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time when there's an owl that you talk to?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's like, his head's going back and forth, left and right, and then all of a sudden it spins all the way around?
Yeah. I don't know how their heads do that.
I'm pretty sure owls can't actually do that, but they did that in the video game and it's just like, huh.
But they do.
No, they do. They do turn around. Maybe they turn around so much that whenever they go back to the other way, you're like, whoa, but they're just like readjusting. They're like, no, I've been turned almost all the way around the whole time. I need to put it back to normal.
Hashtag because of Florida. A man is arrested camping on Walt Disney grounds. Robert McGuire, who is 42, is facing trespassing charges after security found him camping on Walt Disney World's Discovery Island. Deputies were dispatched after Richards had been seen on the grounds, which had been closed to the public due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Orange County Police searched for McGuire on foot, by helicopter, and boat before finally making contact. Police used loudspeakers in attempts to contact McGuire, but he later told police that he couldn't hear them because he was sleeping in one of the buildings. He apparently had no idea the grounds were off limits and told the police that he had been camping there for several days. He was later charged with trespassing and was ordered not to return to any additional Disney properties.
Bro, can you imagine? It's like, how many days? Like 7 at least. Okay, you know it's $600 a day, right? Like we're going to have to charge you with? Okay, I was maybe here today only.
I don't understand. In the world is shutting down. You have to know the place is off limits. And even if you don't realize that by, immediately by the third day, you're like, there's no one else here. Something's up. Maybe I shouldn't be here.
He knew. Come on. It's private property. You don't just...
Are people this dumb, Sarah?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, well, people
Unfortunately.
are
Just Florida.
I saw a video from Florida, and it said somewhere in Florida was the caption. He pulls up to an Wait, what's in Florida? Alligators or crocodiles? No, alligators, right?
I don't know the difference between... I know there is a difference, but I don't know what it is.
I think it's in the mouth, right? It's somewhere narrow. The ones that are narrow are a certain kind, and the ones that are wider are the other kind.
That could be right, because
But I don't remember.
the bodies look relatively the same in dimension. So if there was some sort of differential, it would either be the texture of their skin or the width of their mouth.
Yeah, one's pointy, one's wide, but I don't remember which one's which. Either way, so he pulls up to it looks like he's in the highway or a road with a light. He pulls up, there's an alligator on the ground.
Yeah.
And the alligator starts backing up. Like after he stops to a complete stop, he's like, "Oh shit." The alligator starts backing up and he's like, "Are you drunk, buddy? What are you doing out here?" And he starts backing up and then he's like, "Go home." And then he starts to drive off and the alligator starts to hiss like, "Yeah, that's right, drive off." It's like those are the normal interactions.
Well, yeah, to be so casual about encountering an alligator.
Yeah, he's in his car safely, obviously.
Okay.
But
I'm
he's
thinking
like,
he got out and walked up to him. He was like, "Buddy, you okay?"
Nope, pulled up to him, pulled the window down, and was like, "Buddy, you okay? Are you drunk? Go home."
What was it? How did it go, Sarah, with the guy with the pig that was really fat and rolled down the hill?
Oh, bro, that video.
She ate too much.
The pig is just laying on its back. He touches it, goes down the hill.
You okay there, girl?
Hey, man. The pig just goes down the hill. Can't do anything about it.
Can't stop herself.
We never linked that on Twitter.
Oh, God. Do you still have it?
I should, yeah.
I'm sure it's somewhere, but God.
You put it on the thread?
I don't know.
I'm sure I shared it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I shared it
You
to
messed
somebody.
up, girl.
And the hashtag because Florida, a man attacks roommate who woke him up for breakfast. 62-year-old Clay Walters was sleeping around 5 a.m. when his 69-year-old roommate knocked on his door to tell him that he had made breakfast and it was ready. Walters,
At 5 a.m.?
they're old. They go to bed like at 9.
Probably earlier, actually.
Walters was so upset at being woken up that he emerged from his room, angry, began yelling, and grabbed his roommate and slammed him to the ground and started hitting him. After the attack, Walters went back to his room and waited for the authorities to arrive. A third roommate, who did not see the fight, did hear and called police. Walters was later charged with aggravated battery on a person 65 years or older.
Look, I think that when you're older, for some reason you do wake up early, you know, and it's probably because you go to bed early. But imagine that one day when you don't wake up at 5 a.m. But somebody wakes you up and you're like, I've been wanting to sleep in and get more sleep.
Yeah.
And
this
you
motherfucker
come in here and ruin that.
with toast and waffles.
Right, like it was shit breakfast. Like you took this from the freezer and you popped it in a toaster. Yeah. I'm pissed.
Like, if you're going to wake me up at this hour, I expect more.
Right. Give me some French toast, baby.
Well, Sarah, I hope you never get to that point where I piss you off because I woke you up for breakfast.
I mean, just don't let it be at 5 a.m.
You know what? I'm going to test that theory.
No,
I'm going to be like, I'm going to breakfast her ass off
at 5 a.m.
At 5 a.m. I'm going to wake up at 3. Or maybe do an all-nighter.
I'd be very fucking impressed that you would even cook.
Ooh. Call me so I can record this.
She tells me
He'll
not
be
to.
awake.
Usually I'm at work. I can't. I'm not here to cook. I'm usually at work. You know what? If you want something baked, come to me. I'll bake you something. Right?
Sure.
I make good cakes. I make really good cakes. Haven't flopped yet. Wait, did I have a flop? I did have a flopper one time, right? Didn't I have a flopped cake?
I did.
You did? Oh, it was delicious, though.
The bun cake.
Oh, it was so good. Have you ever had a flop cake?
I don't bake.
Oh, do you know what it is? You know what it is.
A flop cake?
Yeah.
No.
No? Oh, okay. So it's great. It's not supposed to happen. You know how cakes rise? Okay. Somewhere something happened. It could happen to anybody. All right. The cake does not rise, but the cake bakes. But what happens is all the moisture compresses in a cake and it doesn't rise, which means the cake is like ridiculously moist and it is incredible. I would love to intentionally have flopped cakes because they're so moist, but it's a happy accident. I don't know how to actually make it happen.
Why do you... Okay, so if you don't know how that happens, then we don't know the reason. So.
I mean, I'm sure there is a definitive reason. When I was a kid growing up and I heard about cakes that flop, I thought, oh, when you're putting it in the oven, you bumped it too much. Even though it's all just batter, it doesn't matter at that point.
When you're making a cake, do you use baking powder or baking soda?
Powder, right?
You can use both.
Okay.
But most say powder.
Okay, because one of them is not edible, is it?
Yeah, you could use them for... I don't know what you would use baking soda for, but you could bake with it, I would imagine.
Baking soda can be used in bread.
There you go. Which also rises. So, I don't know. It's just...
I'm just not familiar with...
It's just a freak accident. My grandmother made incredible
Can you imagine
cakes.
somebody listening,
Yeah,
like mortified? They're like, you should not be eating baking soda. Or, yeah, baking soda is just, you know...
He's like, you could eat it, you could inhale it, you could inject it, it'll be great.
Just spread some on top of the... Once it's baked, then that's when you put the baking soda.
No.
Or powder.
Yeah.
This is powder. What is soda?
If you really want to step it up, take your fruit
They're
smoothie
both powder.
and just
Oh
put
my
God, Manuel.
baking soda off
It's
of a
actual
can.
soda.
Yeah. What is that? It's just baking soda.
No.
Do you want some with ice?
There is a new Goosebumps live-action television series in development from Scholastic Entertainment and Sony Pictures.
Incredible. Yeah. This would be what, the second and the third one?
Of the Goosebumps, you got the original? Yeah. Or the second, maybe at least.
No, I think Jack Black did too, right?
Oh, no, yeah, he did movies. Yeah, but this
you mean the series,
Yeah, there's
right?
a TV show. Yeah, there were 2 Goosebump movies. And was Jack Black in both?
In what?
The Goosebump movies.
In the movie, yeah. I think so.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I tried to look for the Goosebump theme song the other day because we were going over theme songs from our childhood, and which was probably something we should do here, you know, for the show, and be like, "Do you guys remember this song? Can anybody name?"
And just play a snippet of it.
Yeah, and then maybe go over like the top 5 or 10 movies of our top 5 Pixar movies, you know, our top 5, you know, movies that people can would relate. But anyway, that's a different topic. This was about baking soda. No, what were we talking about?
This one was about Goosebumps making a new live-action show.
Oh, right. And so I tried to look at the theme song on YouTube, and it's nowhere. I saw one video, but it was like really slow, really bad quality. The sounds on it sounded good, though, but it was bad.
Huh. Okay.
Where can we watch Goosebumps if we wanted to watch Goosebumps now?
That I don't know.
Because Netflix doesn't have it.
No. Who owns the rights to Goosebumps? That's the big question.
Because ABC family had it for a while.
It used to air on Fox Kids. That's how I watched it.
Mm-hmm. But then moved to ABC, to Disney.
Okay, so Disney would probably have it. Unless they sold it off to like Nickelodeon or something.
Then it would be on Disney Plus, right?
Maybe, unless another studio made it and then they just aired it.
well, another studio makes The Simpsons, and then now it's Disney.
Well, yeah, but they got bought. There's a difference.
Oh, okay. Goose. There's no Goosebumps. Nope.
Jackass 4 has been pushed back to July 2021.
Was it even close to being done?
I'm guessing it was supposed to come out of this year, maybe.
Oh.
Jackass, bro. And this one would be hilarious because they're much older.
I
I mean, it was funny the last time that they did it because they were older. And I was like, dude, every time they fell, you're just like, that one hurt, huh, Johnny? That one hurt.
no.
How old is he now? Yeah.
Johnny Knoxville? Fuck, I don't know, dude. But I loved Jackass movies. And it's so great. Like, you could go, this is the type of movie that you go to the theater and you could yuck it up. You don't even have to, most people are like, shut up during the movie. Not during a Jackass movie. It doesn't matter.
I need to hear the plot.
And you could freely just laugh as long as you want at something that happened 2 segments ago. Like, you could just be reminded of it and you're just like, that was fucking hilarious. Disney has reportedly signed the Russo brothers of Avengers Infinity War and Endgame to produce a live-action remake of 1997's Hercules, the animated movie.
Oh.
So there you go. They're going to make another... They're going to remake that one after they do Mulan and blah, 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 all that other stuff. Hercules is going to come, baby.
Hercules with Megara and
He was
Hades.
my favorite.
You know,
And he was my favorite.
I
Hades.
haven't seen Hercules since probably the 6th or 7th grade. So I would be down to watch it.
It's a great movie.
And chances are I would like it because I didn't think I would like Mulan, and I loved Mulan.
Bro, nobody thought they'd like Mulan. And it was great. It was amazing.
Was Pocahontas any good?
I liked it.
Can't say the same about that one.
Oh, you didn't like Pocahontas? See,
It
I have
was-
no idea what to go on.
It was
'cause-
just not. It was a little boring.
Okay. So you think I should make it like my mission to go and watch all the original Disney movies?
I haven't seen it in a while, so we could probably do that.
Watch.
Pocahontas and
Yeah.
like as I've seen Beauty and the Beast and The Little
Yeah.
Mermaid, Cinderella. Those are okay. Those are good. You know.
Okay. Yeah, when the
But-
time comes and that Little Mermaid movie comes out, the remake, I'm going to go back and watch the animated one.
The first Ariel.
Yeah. And it's okay, so don't watch Little Mermaid 2.
Oh, I forgot there was a 2.
I was down to watch Mulan 2 before this all happened. And Sarah was like, you don't need to.
I
Like, you
refuse to
probably
watch
shouldn't."
part 2.
Oh, God. But I did watch the Aladdin movies. And you know.
I watched all 3 of those.
Legendary musician Little Richard has sadly passed away at the age of 87. The cause of death was reportedly bone cancer. And then Ben Stiller's father sadly passed away the other day. What was his name?
Jerry.
Was it Jerry Stiller? Yeah. And he was...
92.
Yeah, he had a good long life.
93.
Yeah. Thank goodness they didn't die to the COVID-19 because they were in the age range of when they could be targeted during all that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we go?
Did you know Jerry Stiller? No, I'm just kidding. No.
He's like, did you know that back in the 50s, he did amateur porn? I'm sorry, what?
And do you know where he was in the morning of 9/11?
Hi. Before we go, a rapper attempts Guinness World Record in freestyle rap. A San Francisco rapper broke the Guinness World Record for longest freestyle rap this past week. Rapper, producer, and poet George Watsky live streamed his marathon rap on Twitch and other platforms. Last Thursday, Watsky officially broke the previous record held by Pablo Alvarez. That was 25 hours and 56 minutes back in 2017. The new standing record of longest freestyle rap is a whopping 33 hours, 30 minutes, and 30 seconds. Watsky raised over $100,000 for COVID-19 charities, and earlier this year, in January, a Pittsburgh rapper held a 31-hour freestyle rap marathon, but it was not verified by Guinness World Records. There you go, man. 33
What was his name
hours.
again?
The guy who has the record now?
George what?
George Watsky.
With the way you said it, it sounded like it was an SNL name. Kenan Thompson does one where he's the guy he imitates the guy that reviews movies on AMC, the AMC channel. He's like, my name is something what? And I was like, what? And then they spell it so dumb. I was like, okay, it's funny stuff.
Anything else?
No, when they do stuff like that with names, it's just funny.
Okay, so
Bob.
lesson learned. Next week, go get batteries. For sure. I need to go get batteries.
I know I want to eventually start covering the imaginary friend paranormal aspect.
Okay. So next week, you guys want to talk about Pixar movies. Top 5?
That's gotta be hard.
Top 5 and why?
I already got one. At least one.
Eh,
Oh, it's the litter box.
Everybody should have at least one, right?
Yeah.
Like one that comes to mind. You know?
Yeah. When you think of Pixar, you're just like, yep.
I bet
that's-
it's not on y'all's list either.
I want to. I'm dying. Like, tell me which one it is.
Yeah, but I don't wanna know.
Not on this show.
Like, I want to know, but I don't want to know.
No.
Find out on the net.
Yeah. Find out which Pixar movies we like and love and recommend on the next episode of the SickSadCast. And until then, his name was Manuel, my name was Nick, and her name was Sarah.
Bye.